And joining us now for a candid COVID conversation, you know who he is, Dr. Lane Rowland, virologist and infectious disease expert. Welcome back to BNC. Better yet, you're always here. I don't think you need a welcome back.
Thank you. I love Super Nights. This is my home. I look forward to always being and seeing you guys and giving guys good information.
We appreciate that, and so does our audience as well. Now, vaccination rates going up as cases surge. What do you think is contributing to this?
Well, I think probably the biggest contributor to that is that people realize how significant this SARS virus mutation is a game changer. And I talked about this a year ago about the mutation rate of the SARS virus. So now we have the Delta virus, and this is the problem that we've had. We have to have a uniform policy on explaining to people why they should get the vaccination or not get the vaccination. And now what's happening, because we have ineffective policy, now we're starting to see people that are getting vaccinated are coming up with the virus and becoming spreaders too. And that shows that we have to hurry up and get a hold of this vaccine program. Make sure that people wear an antiviral mask, because I can tell you right now, folks, if we don't get a hold of this, it's going to be catastrophic. And I mean September, October, November, and December, it's going to be game on. And a lot of people are going to suffer because they really didn't take this thing very seriously. Folks that were enjoying their memorial, spring break, memorial for hot dogs and 4th of July, this is the consequences of not having effective policy for people all across the board. I don't care if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, you have to wear a mask, period. Because the person that are vaccinated are probably the ones that are spreading it and affecting children. And now this is so significant now with this Delta strain that we have children that are dying, that are on lung, heart bypass. Children tells you this is not ever.
Dr. Rowland, it seems we're having some issues with your audio. Are you still there? Okay, there we are. All right, so that actually brings me to my next question. Florida, now the epicenter for COVID cases, breaking yet another record, 21,683 new cases in one day. The state is not responsible for 1 in 5 new infections nationally, yet its governor, Ron DeSantis, is against enacting mask mandates or restrictions. What message is this sending, not only to his constituents, but just the country?
Well, this is for you and the BNC, and everybody's a family. You have a mom, a dad, an uncle. This is where you have incompetent people, governor of Florida, get into a lane of infectious diseases. Because of the policies of not wearing a mask, you have infected everybody. When we write the history books in 10 years, Florida is not the epicenter. Florida is the hot zone. The same hot zone I've come out of the jungles to. Florida is the same thing, Arkansas. And the reality is that, folks, I don't care if they have a mandate to not wear a mask. You have a constitutional right to wear a mask in a viral disease. And if you think your cases are accurate, you're wrong. You might as well take the numbers that you're hearing and multiply that by 3. That is a fact. In Florida, with this loose attitude, this I'm going to do it my way, you cannot control a virus if you have an ineffective policy and you have people that are taking politics and putting it into the world of infectious diseases. So Florida, I feel sorry for you folks. I'm going to do everything in my power to educate people, give people the best information so they should survive over the next 6 months. But Florida is really the hot zone. And I will put Florida, the same thing with Las Vegas, people coming there, breathing, infecting, going back to their hometown. The virus could not have picked a better state than Florida to be able to transmit itself throughout America and the world.
Dr. Rowland, can you talk about what that is doing to the virus? The fact that it's now mutating even more, and we're seeing all of these cases every day.
Let me be honest with you guys. I always tell people I can give you the Dr. Rowling version or I can give you the Mickey Mouse version. And most people want the Dr. Rowling version. You have to understand the world of virology. The virus is a living entity. If you attack the virus, guess what the virus is going to do? The virus is going to mutate it comes down to Darwin's theory. It's gonna mutate to be able to survive. And what's happening now, and I think people need to understand the science and the medicine behind this. You can imagine somebody now that's infected with the virus. They go down to the local Tallahassee vaccination place to get a shot. They get the vaccine, and guess what? It takes 2 weeks to 30 days to build antibodies. Well, that virus is going to see that vaccine. It's going to see that antidote, and guess what it's going to do? It's going to mutate. And they said it today in the UK Science Journal, the next super mutation, we have alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, lambda. To be announced mutation is going to come from a vaccinated person. And that is why we have to get back to basic biosecurity for each individual. Mask, wash your hands with antiseptic soap, because we're creating these mutations because we have an ineffective policy. Plus, we also have the fact that people coming from different areas. Somebody comes from India to Orlando. Somebody comes from, Brazil to Orlando or Miami. They breathe in the same room on the Disney ride. And now you're seeing people that have not just an alpha strain, they have beta, gamma. Maybe they might have all 6 strains in them. And this is the thing about understanding the pathology, the virology of what viruses can do, and especially to the SARS-CoV virus, which is the largest virus on the planet, very immunogenic. And folks, a lot of people don't realize that this pandemic occurred 20,000 years ago with the SARS virus. So it's just figuring it out to become more virulent effectiveness.
Dr. Rowland, we have to wrap, but I think we all unanimously want to know, what can we expect in the coming weeks and months?
I'm gonna give it to you straight. I have to be honest with you. It's gonna be, you can take last year, you folks had a preview. God gave you the opportunity to see what happened last year. It wasn't 600,000 people died last year. It's probably 850. They're saying the CDC numbers are wrong anyway. We're going to see that type of numbers this year up until New Year's. It's going to be rough over September, October, November, and December. We will go over the 1 million people that have died from this virus by New Year's, and we're going to see the complications, the long COVID stuff, people with kidney problems, lung incapacity, dementia, all types of different things, because we haven't had an effective policy. So it's very important. Folks, you have time. You have about 2 weeks to get your house in order. I'm talking about, you better get your antiviral mask, you better get your alcohol, and y'all know what happened last year. You better go get you some toilet paper, because this is coming again. And this time, you need to listen to the experts that are trained in this field, because this virus is not going away. You can't put your head in a microwave. You can't drink Clorox or inject yourself with bleach. It's going to go back to what basic security, understanding microbiology to get to the next January.
Dr. Rowland, you really took my breath away. Are you saying we're going to see 1.5 million Americans die from COVID?
We take the 600,000 people, we will hit the 1 million death rate come New Year's. That is a fact. And you're not going to change it. Nobody's going to change that, because the virus is out. The virus is out of control because people were too busy talking about their constitutional rights and breathing on other people. They weren't thinking about the touchscreens at Kmart or Walmart or the kiosks at the Jacksonville airport where everybody's touching, that's contaminated with feces. And people entertain all this stuff. So we have a long ways to go. And our responsibility is to make sure that we educate people. Folks, you need to make sure you have an antiviral mask. You better be using an antiviral septic soap to wash your hands. You better have a foot mat in front of your school or your home that disinfects your shoes. So this is what we talk about, basic virology, that people are going to become virologists. You have to be able to function in this new norm, and this is a new norm.
Dr. Rowland, we are out of time. Grim future ahead, to say the least. My goodness. We always appreciate your insight, and we look forward to following up with you in regards to that prediction. Thank you, sir.